Hello? Hello? Maybe not. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. It has been a while since we've done one of these, like, I don't know, a month and a half, somewhere around there. I don't know. It's been way too long. But anyway, after a long hiatus, we are back. You might notice that, well, I am back. That is because Evan is, well, he's sick. He got COVID, like literally a day after we revamped our plan to, I should have moved that before starting the stream. Revamped our plan to come back and be here, but now we are here. And I forgot to post this live stream to Discord. It's been a while since I've done this, and so I'm out of the flow a little bit. So let me grab the live stream here and post it into our Discord so that everyone there can get a hold of it. Yes, I would like to mention 544 people. Oh wow, it's very dark. Okay, well, we'll just have to live with that. All right, now we can kind of start for real. Welcome back, everyone. I am really hoping we're going to get some chat activity here today. Yes, Ben, we do have a new backdrop. Thank you for tuning in. We are currently in the living room. I don't know if this is where we're going to be streaming permanently. Like I said when I opened up the stream here, Evan has COVID, so originally this was going to be a bit of more of a bigger stream since it's been a while since we've streamed. We're both going to be here. We're really going to place a focus on answering questions. Now this was kind of thrown together last minute because I don't know how any of this audio-visual stuff works. So I spent about 45 minutes troubleshooting and about 15 minutes actually getting things to work. So the fact that we're here at all is honestly kind of a miracle. But thank you, Dunder Mifflin, Zoltan, Pup Kiwi, David Green, Justa Kajit. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, and glad that you are a first-time viewer. I hope you enjoy the channel. Oh, long-time viewer. I'm very sorry. I misread that. Pup Kiwi says, save some chicken for the rest of us. Fidel says, hola, hola, Fidel. It has been a long time since we have seen you, since I've seen you at least. I'm sure Evan is watching as well, so I don't know if he will be in the chat at all. He's in his room, quarantining right now. You might hear him cough. I don't know how sensitive this mic is, but yeah, it's going to be one hell of a Labor Day weekend. Thankfully, orders don't actually seem to be that crazy so far, and we're definitely not doing a sale. We were kind of thinking maybe it would be great to do a sale, but with a reduced team, no. But anyway, we are here in the living room. If you guys did not watch our most recent video that just came out on Friday, we kind of gave a little bit of a tour of the expanded operation. So go ahead, check that out if you kind of want to get caught up with why we are in the living room, what all of the stuff around me is. You guys can't see the bins, but good enough. All right. Pep Kiwi says you need some good lights. Yes, normally we do have lights. I just don't have any of that stuff with me currently. So yeah, it looks a lot better when the camera is on auto, like aperture brightness or whatever. But unfortunately, there's this window over here, and so it kept like getting dark and then light, and I didn't really have time to figure out how to actually set the brightness manually. Daddy-O Bricks, welcome to the stream. Evan is here. Hap Kiwi says, some of us missed you. Pup says, imagine me doing a sale without just myself. Impossible. Yeah, last Black Friday, it took five people to pick our orders for that sale. I think we did 130 something orders. which is mind-blowing. And this year would be way bigger if we did a sale. So no sale. Jones says, I'm sure you've done something else than get longer beard. Not really. I guess I cut my hair a little bit. Is there anything I can't... You know what? I might have a solution for this lighting. Just a little bit. This is going to be super sketchy. Unfortunately, it does not bend. Maybe I can lay it down. Evan is texting me. You can adjust knobs on the camera. It will help. All right, I'm just going to adjust random knobs on the camera, and we're going to see what happens. The back one near the set button. Like the ring that goes around the set button. Because there's like a menu / set button, and then around that is kind of like a ring. Are you talking about rotating that ring? Because it says lock. When I try to do that, a thing comes up that says lock. Okay, yes, I am turning the ring. Is it doing anything? It doesn't look like it's doing anything on my screen here, looking at the camera. He's like 5-10 seconds delayed, so... yeah, I ain't seeing any changes. There is also a ring near where you put your index finger if you're going to press the shutter button. That should help too. Which direction do I want to go with that? You know, it looks way darker on the YouTube screen. I wonder if it's just compression. Currently it's at 500. Do I want a higher number? Do you want, I'm just going to call him. All right, guys, I'm back. Maybe that had some kind of an effect. We'll see. Okay. Hello, Lego reviewer. Welcome to the stream. Only here for a few minutes, about to eat dinner. Enjoy. Brickmark, welcome to the stream. Pepkiwi says my major goal in life, or I assume talking about me. Paul's major goal in life is to become Gandalf. Maybe. I would, it would be very cool to be a wizard. But I do not want to wade into the rings of power. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to. I don't want to hear anything about it until I've seen it, because I am quite the large Lord of the Rings fan, and yeah. Yeah, this is a spoiler-free chat. If anyone talks about the Rings of Power, I'm going to kick you. Daddy-O says, feel better, Evan. Hopefully it's mild. We just had it again. My wife got the Paxlovid drug. It helped quite a bit. Was the first week after they approved it. Evan, you should look into that. So, where have we been? Just in case you want first. I am starving, so let me explain what the Wingstop meal of the week is today. My blue cheese spilled. This is so sad. Please like and subscribe for more wing-related content. Alrighty. So, today's Wingstop review. By the way, Wingstop, as I say every time we eat Wingstop, if you would like to sponsor us, we are very interested in hearing from you. It would be really cool if this could go from not sponsored by CHOW and CHAT to sponsored by Wingstop CHOW and CHAT. Anyway, today I am not eating wings. I am eating tenders, actually. I rarely eat tenders, but recently I've been kind of having a craving for these. So I am getting the Korean spicy barbecue and the new hot honey rub. Both are very good. I'm getting that and having it with my normal blue cheese sauce. I am aware that there is now chicken sandwiches. Those will be coming. That was originally the plan for today, but I don't want to have one without Evan, so. PepCuby says, I have COVID briefly last year. After getting the shots, it was like a common cold. Yeah, this is Evan's second or I don't know. He's had it a few times now, I feel like. And it does not seem to go well for him. I don't know if I've had it. There, right near the beginning of the outbreak, there was a time where I was sick, but I was already just isolating anyway because it was like in the middle of like the really strong lockdown. So I never bothered going in to get tested because I hadn't really interacted with anybody since right before the lockdown. And I was sick for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, but I was basically fine. And I've had colds since then, but nothing that was like, wow, I need to do something about this. So I'm really hoping I don't get it this time. I've been testing negative though, so I've been taking a test every day, and hopefully it remains that way. But where have we been? So you might have noticed that our last video was posted quite a long time ago. That is because, well, we haven't really had time. Things have been changing a lot here at Just a Brick in the Bucket, and I'm going to have one of these. We have grown a lot within the last few months here. And really, it's become very hard to get videos out with how much time everything has been taking. But now that we've kind of gotten back into the flow a little bit more, we definitely are planning to bring back a lot more content. Okay, so where can I see like a longer term? 2022. Okay, then I guess that's the best that Brick Freedom can do. Where were we in July? Okay, I guess I can't really view that historical data on here. But anyway, at the beginning of, sorry, on the 4th of last month, we had 400,000 parts, a little over 400,000. Now we are at 46 100,000, 460,000 parts. So we've grown a lot. And before that, we were at like, I don't know, I want to say we were at like 300 something in September, or sorry, in July. Evan might be able to pull those statistics more easily than I can, but we've been growing an insane amount over the last couple months, and so unfortunately the YouTube channel has kind of suffered a bit because of that. But hopefully we're back now. We've got a lot of really cool content in the pipeline for you. We have been recording a little bit of stuff. We have a posting schedule now in the that we released last video. Just a Kajit says, just wanted to say keep up the great work. Hope you get well soon, Evan, and I'm hoping to see great content from you guys. Thank you very much for the super chat, just a Kajit. We appreciate it a lot. Jones says, I watched almost all your videos, and then a long time nothing. I'm really happy to see how your store is growing. Yes, thank you very much. Unfortunately, I do have a rather sad announcement to make regarding the monthly sales recaps. We get questions about these a lot. Unfortunately, that series is kind of dead. As we've grown and our revenue has grown and we've diversified how we spend our money, we've become more hesitant to share some of that information. We are working on alternatives because we know that a lot of people kind of use that to gauge their own progress and how to run things in their store. So we're working on alternatives that we can make to kind of disclose some of that information without disclosing all of that information. So stay tuned in the future. I don't know when that's going to come out. We've talked about maybe like a quarterly review. But part of the original reason was why we stopped doing them was how long has that been on my arm? We kind of took a break from adding parts for a while to figure out how to grow the store. And our revenue really tanked, and we kind of didn't want to share that. And then we started spending a lot of money growing out our infrastructure and our logistics and everything, and making a lot of investments. So it did really not look great from a video perspective. And now we are reaping the returns on those investments. So there might be something in the future where we kind of go a bit more in depth into that. No promises, but that pattern is probably something that's going to continue, where we kind of have a more logistics / investment focused spending plan. And it would be kind of awkward to like show, oh, here's how big the store is, and then here is less revenue than expected. On a month-to-month basis, you really need more time to show how the decisions that you make in month 1 of a quarter affect the final month of a quarter. So that's kind of the reasoning for that. Benti, are you able to elaborate what you mean by logistics when it comes to spending? Yeah, sure. We kind of had a very decentralized, spread out contractor management method when we were doing contractors the first round. It was very disorganized. Now we have a much more robust management method. We spent a lot of time kind of engineering spreadsheets and coming up with more extensive training. We also have spent a lot of money on bins. I don't really want to get up and turn the camera right now, but if you go watch last video, I kind of showed off all of the bins. First of all, those are expensive. Second of all, the Lego that is in them was very expensive. So is the labor cost of people sorting that stuff, and how we staggered our labor was kind of a flood method. So what do I mean by that? So we hired some people to do a lot of A sort, and then we hired some people to do some B sort, and then at last we hired some people to do some C sort. And now the pipeline is constant. So there's always A sort, there's always B sort, and there's always C sort. But before we brought on our first catalogers, we wanted to have a solid backlog of every level built up, so that things would be rotating through properly. So it took probably 2.5, 3 months to get the hundreds of pounds that we wanted through that all the way through to get added. And then once they were to the point of getting added, they obviously have to be added. So there was essentially a lag time. And the reason why there was a lag time is because we really were trying to build for scale. Previously, how we were running things was much more of a lackadaisical kind of smaller store mentality. Now we wanted to invest in a system that we would be able to scale infinitely. And that just kind of meant more of an overhead in logistics is what I would call it. Barcodes on everything. A lot of time in meetings. Evan and I spent hours and hours and hours of time that we could have spent adding pieces or cataloging just in meetings, drawing stuff up, coming up with ideas, trying to boost revenue and optimize stuff. And so that's kind of what I mean by logistics. All right. Pup Kiwi says, showing or telling what you spend on infrastructure and growth is important. It shows people to realize the behind running a store. You might spend a lot on storage, but don't upload a lot. Yeah, it's good to show people the theory. That's why I said that it might be something quarterly or some kind of financial tutorial where we might use numbers that are similar in percentile to ours, but not dollar. Or something like that to kind of show that. But in terms of actually releasing like dollar values, I think Evan and I have kind of decided that that's not something we want to do. At the current growth method, because it's not really representative of a stable business. We are growing a lot. We are spending a lot of money to do that growing. We are able to pay all our bills and everything, but how to grow fast is to spend lots of money. So we spend pretty much equivalent to our revenue, and that looks really bad on paper when you get lots of comments of people saying, "Oh, this cannot run as an effective business. Oh, you cannot run a Lego store. Oh, you guys are working for nothing," or whatever. But if we were to just suddenly stop expanding and go into inventory maintenance mode where we just wanted to keep our current size and not grow at all, then we would actually have a pretty substantial profit margin, right? But that's not how we're choosing to run our business right now. We really want to grow and we want to put the pedal to the metal and keep growing. And so showing that, it gives a false portrait of how the business is run and how businesses in general run. So maybe once we stabilize more, we'd be open to doing something like that. I would like to do a full breakdown of kind of how we managed the last few months and how we've grown and stuff. I don't know when something like that would come out, but stuff like that I'm definitely more open to. But just the kind of month to month where we feel we are obligated to share information when maybe we're working on something that we don't want to be public yet. For example, the Excel spreadsheets that we use to manage this stuff are, a competitive edge, right? And so if we were to go ahead and show everyone exactly how to do that, it would become substantially less valuable. And you knowing that we use an Excel spreadsheet is very different from showing you exactly how we build ours and giving you just a template that you can download, right? So once things But now that we know what we're doing, and now that we know how to run things, and we're looking for bigger and better options, it might not be bad to share that information. So it kind of just depends month to month and how the business is doing. Good evening, Apple Sandbox. Ben says bins are expensive. They are very expensive. Dunder Mifflin says, I'm kind of there now. I just upped my category bin size, so we're now working to getting those full. And I'm not uploading a whole lot of used until those larger bins fill out. Dunder Mifflin says, when you guys were doing new, did you try to keep a backlog and create a flow? Specifically, did you part out a set every week and buy a new set to part out every 0.7 weeks and build up a backlog? No. Even now, the only backlog that we try to maintain is essentially an emergency backlog. Which is just so that if we were to lose sourcing for a few weeks, the business would be able to continue uploading. We don't keep a backlog. We don't keep a continually growing backlog. We basically keep a backlog that is 2 weeks to a month our processing, and that's it. And we don't want it to grow beyond that. That backlog is only an emergency safety valve. Because if it's not listed, it's not making money. So that's kind of the idea. And even then, that stuff that is sitting in backlog has been pulled. So all the figs and super expensive parts have been pulled out of it. It is basically just so that we don't have to let employees go or pay them for not doing any work. Because obviously there are people that count on us to make their ends meet. And so if suddenly we were just out of source and could not upload anymore, the A sorters, B sorters, and outside catalogers would be hit first by that because we would not have any work for them. So the backlog kind of exists as a safety mechanism to ensure that those people can keep working and we can keep making revenue while we line up new source, right, if something were to go wrong. We have had to dip into the backlog before, but for the most part, it just kind of sits there. And that's my opinion in terms of how a backlog should be. I don't think that you should have an extensive backlog because it's not making any money. Eaple Sandbox says, really interesting to hear about the Lego business. I haven't bought or touched Lego in years. I didn't know there were stores like these. Yeah, it's a pretty big sector. We didn't really know about that kind of stuff either until we got into it. Evan ran a BrickLink store. Evan, my business partner. If you're brand new, you might not know his face. He has COVID right now, so that's why he's not here. But Evan, my business partner, ran a BrickLink store back in 2015 out of his closet. He was still in high school at the time. And it was not a profitable business. He'll be the first one to tell you that. Then he kind of stopped doing it. And we rebooted 2.5 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. Maybe it was 3 years ago. I think it'll be 3 years this January. It grew way faster than we kind of anticipated, and pretty soon we were looking at it and going like, wow, this is not just something fun to do during the lockdown. This is a full-time job. So I quit my job. I started doing this full-time first, and I still do it full-time. And Evan does it on and off full-time because he still works outside here. He's in the film industry. And so he's usually in here. It really varies week to week. Sometimes he's in here full-time week or more than full-time week. Sometimes he's in here a part-time week. It probably averages out to be about a full-time job. and the store is growing a lot. There are stores substantially larger than us that employ tens of employees, right? So the goal is to eventually get there. Chris says, I think 3 years. But to kind of say what you were saying, Yapple, it was very surprising to us too. Jones says, I don't know how much I have Legos. I think it's 500 to 700 kilograms as a hobby. Specific videos, I'm seriously thinking about starting my own BrickLink store. Be prepared to not make any money. I don't mean that to say no. I just mean, how do I word this? BrickLink is not a hobby. Unless you enjoy sorting pieces and you just run the store because you want something to do with the pieces you've sorted. There are people like that who just enjoy sorting pieces and they want to run a little bit of a, side hustle, but you are barely going to meet costs, if you're going to meet costs at all. BrickLink is a big store's business, and I don't mean this to put people out, because it is totally possible to grow from being a small store to grow to being a big store in under a year. David West has proven this. He started well after us. He is now substantially larger than us. I don't know if he's here or not, but he runs like full operation, right? And makes decent money doing it. I don't know exactly how much he makes. Obviously, that's his business. But I do know that, it is totally possible if you just drill and go to run a BrickLink business. But you have to understand that you're building your career. You cannot run a BrickLink store by yourself, working another full-time job, and expect to be making money in a short period of time. If you want to make money on BrickLink in a short period of time, you need to quit your job and do it full-time. That is the only way, and to be prepared to invest tens of thousands of dollars into it. If you want to grow it slow, invest 20 hours a week and thousands to $10,000, over time, and grow it that way. But really, you need to be operating at the hundreds of thousands of pieces level in order to have money to take home and feed kids. And at least where we live, right? Things are very expensive in California. But I'm not trying to dissuade you at all. In fact, quite the opposite. It's just about setting expectations. You should understand what you're getting into and the amount of work that's required to go into it. Chris says, David has top 50 BL store. Yeah, he's on and off with Chris for highest lot count, and I think he's just on top 50 worldwide. And he might have been operating for a year and a half now. It's insane. We went out to tour his operation. There's a playlist on our video called East Coast or Midwest vlog trip. You can go check that out. We got an inside look at both David and Chris's store. If you want to check that out, kind of comparing and contrasting their store versus our store. If you want to learn some more about what a big store looks like and the amount of people and hours that are required to run one. Dunder says, would you guys ever be able to share your sorting categories? I'd be curious to see your category breakdown. Probably. Currently, the sheet says do not distribute. I don't know. I know the reason originally for that was because it was fluctuating so often and we didn't want to get nailed down to something. It's pretty stable now. So probably, I don't know if I'd share the sheet, but I mean, a basic list is like, there's 22 of them counting non-sellable, and like minifig, deck, small slopes, gen tech, basic tech, wheel and natural. It's really pretty straightforward. Daddy-O says it takes a lot of time and financial investment to become truly profitable. Yeah, I would agree. Ben says, what part lots would you classify as a big store? I would not say that we're a big store. I would say we are a mid-sized store, pushing upper mid-sized. I would say big store is 600,000 parts, 25,000 lots, I would say is the entry point to big store. I would say a big store is million part plus. Chris says 15K lot, 500K part. And I mean, also, it really depends on whether you want to talk revenue or pieces. Because there are many models to running a BrickLink store. So, there are people who have 7,000 lots and 3 million parts who make tons of money, who do new. So, it really fluctuates. Also, it depends on where you live, to be honest. If you have a very low labor cost, very low land cost, and a low cost of living for yourself, then obviously your store needs to generate less revenue for you to be considered, you know, upper class or middle class or whatever your goal is within your community. So here, things are crazy expensive. So, you know, really depends. For some reason, GeForce Experience thinks I'm in a game right now and it wants to screen cap. No, thank you. Ben says that that's about where he's at. Ben, you still do new, though, don't you? Pup Kiwi says, I did 16-hour days until I hit 200K. Now a burnt out littler. I will say, the fact that you were calling us 2 months ago, maybe a bit more, and because we talked with Pup Kiwi over the phone, and because he was asking for some advice, which we normally don't do. Please don't call us. Like, please don't call us. He was basically asking how to get started, and he hadn't really purchased much Lego yet, and now he is at 200,000 parts. So that just does to show that if you have free time and money, it is completely possible to grow like that. Now, obviously, burnout is a thing. Evan and I have dealt with that before. I would describe myself as lazy on the inside. I'm substantially less lazy than I used to be, but still on the inside, I hate work. I hate work of any kind. I don't enjoy doing, well, that's not true. Thinking about doing work, I never want to do it. I love working in the store. When I'm actually here, I do often enjoy it. But in terms of wanting to get up and go do it or whatever, basically any kind of work or any kind of task, even things that I know I'm going to enjoy, I generally just am averse to doing. And where was I going with this? It's really kind of the hardest part is burnout. I am very susceptible to burnout, and so when you go into things, you need to know who you are, what kind of person you are, and what steps you need to take to mitigate those things. For me, I try to make sure that I'm never doing the exact identical same task every single day. I catalog every single day, but I do try really hard to make sure I'll usually have like 3 bins running at once, and I'll switch off. Maybe it's a bit less efficient, but I'd rather work 40 slightly inefficient hours than 20, pretty efficient hours, right? And so know yourself, or in the words of the Delphic Oracle, know thyself, and be prepared to implement strategies that are going to align with your own personal work ethic and what gets you to do stuff. Pup Kiwi says, yeah, I know the job and extra money, so I pulled the trigger and bought 1,000 pounds. Prevent burnout by hiring workers. I do uploads every second day. Every other day is sorting and cataloging. Yeah, the fact that you hit 200K with no help in 2 months is like, yeah, it's insane. FQ says weekends are from figs. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we've done kind of similar stuff, I guess, but only for very short periods of time, right? I think I've done a 65-hour week once in this store. One time. Other than that, I try to keep it at something that's not going to burn me out. Because slow and steady wins the race, right? And hiring people is a huge thing. JB says, thanks for the stream. I have to take off. See you next time. Yeah, we'll be back next month, same time. Brickmark says I had a 69 order from a store with 84 lots and 2 million plus parts last week, but they are closed and was for figs. It was weird, but good for me. Yeah, I mean, there are strange stuff. Just Gajit says, I'll be heading out. Have a good rest of your stream. Thank you. I will probably be heading out pretty soon too. These streams are going to be a bit shorter now and only monthly. Just in case you are new or you missed our previous video, we are switching up our schedule a little bit to try and make sure that videos actually get out. So we have a live podcast coming next week. Next week, assuming Evan is feeling well. And live podcast means that it will be live. Evan and I will be live streaming, but we are going to have a list of topics that we want to hit. We're not going to be directly addressing chat. We will have someone reading chat off to the side who will pass on important things to us, but it's going to be way more moderated and way more scripted. So be there for that if you want. After that, we have a special thing coming for people who are over 21. Well, I guess technically over 18, but more targeted for those who can consume adult beverages. For those of you who are longtime fans, you know that Evan and I are big Moscow Mule fans, and we've just stay tuned for something very special. And that's kind of going to be a very different fare than our channel usually does. So stay tuned for that. And then we will have a video out as well at some point near the end of the month. Funbrook Creation says, hello, how is everyone? Lego Reviewer says, I'm back. Brickmark, I have a main job plus a part-time job in a small store, 4,500 lots, 38,000 parts. Good going. Ben T says, any plans to resume the Patreon calls? We're going to be completely revamping Patreon sometime this month. And we will be figuring out exactly what the Patreon call status is going to be and what patrons will be doing. But there will be some kind of more consistent reward for you guys that we can actually keep up with, so we don't make promises we can't keep. Fidel says 10K sub special. Probably not. Maybe some kind of special stream, but the truth is we're probably not going to have time to do anything that is going to take tens of hours to set up. Funbrook Creation says, plus great news, I reached 500 subs during the week. Congratulations. You have been growing a lot. Goodbye, Pup Kiwi. So that's kind of the plan going forward. Our primary focus is still going to be on the store, but we have been a bit more active in Discord recently. So go ahead and check that out if you are not yet in the Discord. Ben T says, for me, I use Patreon to support you guys rather than rewards, but I did enjoy the calls as they replaced the chat and talked to store owners, fans of the channel in a more professional environment. Yeah. It would be kind of nice to do some kind of store chat. But I would need to figure out some way to make it exclusive without excluding. So we'll see what happens. But they were very informative for us as well. Then there, Mifflin Brickco says, has anybody done a Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist ask saying, give me a Lego, I will buy your Lego? Yes, we have. We got a couple hits off of it. But not too much. Most things just evaporated. People would reach out and then just disappear. So, yeah. So, yeah. Any other questions regarding just BrickLink in general, the channel, anything else? Plans moving forward? Favorite wing flavor? Alrighty. So, I'm going to go ahead and probably close it out. Thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Sorry, I don't want to show my mouth while I'm talking. Okay, we do have some questions. Funbrick says, are the streams going to become weekly again? No, they're going to be monthly. First Saturday of every month at 2 o'clock. So tune in then. Jones says there is no easy money. I have time in a room, 100 to 200 meters squared to start. The budget would be something around 10,000. I've sorted all my Legos, so I don't really know how much time that would take. What is that in feet? Um, 1,000 square feet. Yeah, you're fine. 1,600 square feet. I strongly recommend getting some help with $10,000. You could, for California wages, you could get probably like 2 or 3 catalogers working for you. So I recommend you get some help. Daddy-O says, good to see you back and glad the store's moving in the right direction. Brian McWood, how do you see this top 50 list and what do they go by? I don't actually know how to get to it. I've only ever been linked it. Let's see here. Okay. I will try and send a link in the chat. Sometimes links don't really work. That link appeared to work. If you just scroll down to highlighted stores, stores with 50 sales volume, DNA Bricks is actually right there at the top under Americas. So there's your list. I don't know how to get to the full 50, but I know there's some way. Oh, it's just a, no, it's not just a link. Huh, okay. Well, what else is here? Soulflame says, hello, hello, unfortunately. Goodbye, goodbye. Fidel says, I'm just glad you're back. Your streams motivate me to do something, even if I'm burned out. Thank you. I love to hear that. Okay. with that, finally, if you are not already a subscriber to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Like this stream, like our other videos if you found them useful to you. We have a Discord chat where if you want to talk to lots of other BrickLinkers and people in the LEGO community, there's about 550 people there now. We have an activity of probably about 50 consistent chatters per day, different people. I was just looking at the insights today. And if you want lots of quick LEGO advice, BrickLink advice, you're looking to start a store or whatever, you can go ahead and jump in down there. Several of the top stores in the country, in the world even, are in that chat. So not that I'm promising they're going to ask you questions. Please don't just ping spam. But you can join our Discord, talk to people, socialize, get to know the community. Evan and I are in there. Evan might be in there a bit more now because he has COVID and doesn't have anything else to do. And I use it to procrastinate doing my schoolwork like I am about to. So thank you, everyone. And I will be seeing you all in Discord and in our podcast coming up hopefully next week. Stay tuned for more details on that.